Hi, I'm Judd with Adrenaline Industries. This is our pretty cool ex-military BAE. I mean, it's newer, it's 2010, so it had factory AC and some of the newer stuff that a lot of these that are from the 90s that most people get. We got lucky on this one. It's cool, but it's not pretty. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, dating. There's plenty of cool people or there's pretty people. It's really hard to find both, and if you do, you just marry those ones. So my wife, when she was cool and pretty, I had to just marry that one, going on 28 years. So this thing's not pretty, don't marry it, but it is really cool. We've done a few things to it. We had the intentions. We didn't, of course, I bought it on Facebook Marketplace about 3 years ago. We've had it about 3 years. And there's like 4 photos. You know, the guy was pretty dishonest in what I got it from. It had a few issues. So we got it, we had to fix it, and then I get it here, and I didn't realize that it was in rougher shape. So, you know, we build, as you can see behind here, we're building $500,000 to $1 million expedition trucks. So our intention is that to find a newer one that had factory AC, had the C7 motor, which is a better motor. It's quieter motor than a lot of the other ones that are out there. So it seemed like a great base. And then when we got it, it was just rougher. We're like, and we're sold out for over a year on our expedition trucks on Fords and Rams. So it wasn't worth the effort that we would need to do this. So this would be a really good farm truck or a tour truck. And before we saw it, we threw a bunch of money into it. So I had Bryce, who's pretty well known in this LMTV market, you know, the MTV market with these, that does fast axles and lockers. So we spent, I think, somewhere around $20,000, maybe more than $20,000 on putting fast axles in all 3 axles. Of course, you got to do that or it won't work. And then we also added lockers to all 3 axles. And we did the same thing on our big expedition truck. We'll put a photo in on this video to show our big 6x6 Frank the Tank. So we've put 12,000 miles on our new civilian version of this truck, and with no issues. And I mean, they'll climb a tree with 3 lockers locked up, these 47-inch tires. So this thing would be a beast, but it's also geared now to go 74 miles an hour. And that's at red line, but these red lines are actually, you know, backed off a little bit. So you're not a true red line. I think because it's a commercial truck, they derated a little bit. So this truck, you could drive it at 74 miles an hour all day if you wanted to. So walking around the truck, you'll see what I mean, like it wasn't perfect. There's a dent here. It's also a drop-down cab. Some of the newer trucks had that, so they'd fit in a container or be dropped out of an airplane or something is what I heard. But, you know, it's just got some dents. I mean, at the end of the day, these military trucks were, you know, if they were driven a bunch of 18-year-olds. When I was 18-year-old, if I was in the Army and had access to one of these things, yeah, I'd be putting dents in it too. I'd have so much fun in it. So it's not perfect, but it's good. Mechanically sound, there's no oil leaks. There were a few little, like, you know, coolant leaks and things like that. We've gone through and fixed all those. The tires, they're about 50%, maybe a little bit more than that tread. I crawled under it yesterday to find some date codes. The newest one was like a 2016. There was a 2015. There was one I saw that was a 2009. So the tires are, you know, older, but they hold air. The tarp's probably original. It works. We never installed it until yesterday. We put it on, you know, cleaned it up. There's rust on it that we couldn't get off, but there's just a few places where it must have had a piece of metal sitting on it in the back of this. And but it works. It's missing a couple buckles here and there. It was also, we had like 3 strands of the bungee that connects into here. And so we had enough that we put it on the one side just to show that it works, make sure everything was okay. But I mean, that's pretty cheap. For $10 to $30, you can get enough, more of that military bungee stuff if you did want to have the canopy come down. Or I saw online, I didn't see one for the 6x6, the 4x4s, I think were $550, $590 for a whole replacement. If somebody, you know, if that was important. But right now, I kind of like the way it looks with the shade canopy up there, to be able to put your passenger in there and be out of the sun. As we walk around here, you got wheel chocks, all your lights work on it, trailer hitch, you know, set up. These 6x6s, you know, with that, or you can tow about anything you want. All the mechanics on it, like yesterday we opened up all the different gates and stuff to make sure. They're all pretty simple, not a lot of resistance on them. Something happened there. This is the worst of all of them. The others are in pretty good shape. The other 4, 2 on each side. This one definitely is the worst. And then back here, we notice we've got the extra bench sitting here and the upper rail. What we noticed is that they broke this, it looks like here. So I don't know if we can buy another one of those, or if not, somebody could weld another piece. And that allows it so that the fourth bench could attach in and slide into here. So all your parts are there. The only thing it's missing is this right here to be able to attach that to. This was pretty simple. Like, I think it only took us maybe 10 minutes, my son and I, to put all this in. So it was all just folded down and just sitting back here. We had no idea if it worked or would go together. No instructions, but it was pretty simple. Like, all this went together. We used these straps to kind of hold it in so the pipes weren't coming out as we installed it. But really, then the nice thing is if this extra seat was out of the way, these things you lift up on it and you push those up and then they fold, and those seats will actually fold flat against the wall. So then you have the full width of this bed. And then again, there's like quick release pins on these extra supports that are on the middle and the front that release those. So your seats can come in and out really easy. But it's kind of cool as a troop carrier like this. Again, like, I think a tour company or something would have great with this, or someone on a ranch wants to take their grandkids around. But then you can also run into town at freeway speeds. We've done everything to this that we were doing to our civilian versions, like with the high-speed axles, the service and air conditioning and things. We put in better seats. I'll show those in a second. But this could also be a do-it-yourself camper. Again, we're building, on our trucks that we're building like this, we're about $800,000 when we're all done. And so if we're saving $100,000 on a chassis for an 800, most of our customers are, this was just too much work. But for someone that's doing it themselves and wants to weld themselves a box in here, or grab an old U-Haul, box or something and just have it mounted to this was good. Like, again, with air conditioning and heat, the C7 motor's a lot quieter than the previous editions of that motor. So this would be a pretty solid base vehicle if somebody wanted to turn it into an expedition truck. It's already titled and registered in Utah, so street legal here. Inside, you see it's in better shape than most. So these seats here, they're actually an air seat. They're on hydraulic cylinders that are tucked into here. These seats come out of the Acela. So this version of an Acela truck, 6x6, I think is just under $150,000. They take a truck like this, they refurbish it, go through it all. And we have one right over there for a customer's truck that we're turning into an expedition truck. He's building it to travel the world. So he wanted an older truck that didn't have emissions and stuff on it that was still legal here in the U.S. So Acela does a great job. Of course, we put in $10,000 seats in that truck. And so we took the upgraded Acela seats and just threw them into this truck here. And then we also took, of our civilian BAEs, they came with these other seats. So we used the mounts and put in a third, just use the mounts, put a third seat in there. You can see factory air conditioning in it. It's missing some panels. We've got one door panel hanging out in there for one side or the other. We'll probably throw that on. I just haven't done it yet. But it is missing one panel. You don't really notice it's missing this sheet. That could be, a sheet of aluminum could go in there and fix that. Again, it's cool, but it is not pretty. We'll do a cold start now. This thing sat overnight right where it's at. I mean, it's warm outside, so cold start's not like the same as a true cold start in the winter, but we've started this in the winter. It starts right up. It's no issue at all, but I'll still go touch the exhaust and show that we haven't, cheated. It's actually almost a little warm because the sun's beating on it. Let me go back to the shade. It's like, ow! It's cold. We have not started this thing. Okay, so you don't really have a keyed ignition on these. You flip the power switch on. Goes. Okay, so we're just pulling out of my driveway, coming down. Here's the AC controllers right here. So that's your condenser to flip that on. Then you have it 3 speeds. You have fresh air and recycled air, recirculated air. The ABS light's on. That's happened to all of our vehicles once we add lockers. It seems like whatever safety system they got in there, whatever, they don't like when we add lockers to it. So ABS lights on. Other than that, you have no check engine lights, no other warnings. Central tire inflation's great. So this is our own adrenaline. Our engineer Casey came up with this. The factory ones have 4 set speeds. So for off-road, or PSI and speeds. So if you want to go to cross country as a mode you would hit, that drops it down. I don't remember what it is, but maybe 35, 40 PSI. And as it drops down, it's speed rated. So as soon as you get to a certain speed, it starts inflating it back to the highway. Or if you put it in, you know, the sand mode, which I don't know I can't remember what PSI that is, but I hated it. I mean, it makes sense if you're building it just for the general public. You can hit a button, you know, for the armed forces, you hit a button, you just know, hey, it's no brainer. For us, there's times I'm off-road for hours at a time. I don't want that highway pressure, and so we've added our own now, and so it's pretty simple. That turns it on, and then here, this is where I air up. So you can see right now, it will give you the pressure there as I'm airing up. And then if I wanted to air down, I do the opposite. That's my dump right there. So I can dump all the air with the other side. So it's literally just 3 switches. One turns it on, one fills it up, one dumps it. We're going 49, 48 miles an hour. The C7, I don't know when the C7 came out, but it is so much quieter. There's no additional sound deadening in this truck or anything yet, but you can still talk to your passenger. I mean, it's not at normal levels. I would have to talk a little bit louder, but at least it's not like brain damage like the earlier models of these trucks are from the 90s. Just want to show that at high speed, you know, going 67 miles an hour using a GPS to prove that. And anyway, this truck just cruises right along with no issue. So when we got this truck, the air conditioning was installed from factory, but it didn't work. So most of your important parts, the compressor and things like that, have all been replaced in this. So the air conditioning system, it doesn't look brand new, but the internals are all very new, and I mean, it blows really cold air. It's near 90 degrees today in northern Utah, and we're fine with the AC running. It's fun to drive. I think it's really enjoyable. Like I said, you can drive this on the interstate, but then you could also go off-road, and it will go anywhere it will fit.